Hi, I'm Cameron Watts, minister of Fairlawn Avenue United Church. Welcome to the fourth of our now six-part series of our study of John Shea's book Starlight, Beholding the Christmas Miracle, all year long. An in-person group gathered this past week to look at Chapter 4, Giving Birth to Christ. This is a synopsis of what we learned together. Now, we have lots of questions. You might want to pause at some points during the clip in case you want to wrestle with them yourself. The chapter and our conversation are about how we give birth to the Christ, or new realities in our own lives, and what that might require. What do we need to be aware of for new realities to be born? Now, Shea gives the key at the end of the chapter, instead of at the beginning, when he talks about the conversation between Mary and the angel Gabriel, who announces to her that she has the opportunity to give birth to the Christ. Shea says that a detached and longing person, talking about Mary, has discovered divine love at the center of her being, and the revelation signals a new stage in her identity and demands that she leave behind a towering sense of transcendence for an intimate sense of communion. She has to stop thinking about God as other and think about God as within. She has to stop thinking about God as distant and start thinking about God as present. She has to start thinking about the holy as near and not far. The story of the encounter between the two of them can reveal to us how to be aware of how we can be prepared for new realities being given birth in our own lives and who we will become. And we start maybe with what is it that we are prepared to accept and what we're prepared to nurture. Because the story as it's told in Luke's gospel does seem to give her the opportunity to say, "No thanks, I won't do this." But she says yes, as the story is told, and I think at Christmas and Advent, what we often say in that moment is the incarnation, what she gave birth to, was the Holy One holding out an infant to us and saying, "Here, take care of this for me, will you?" And when we have that infant in our lives, when we have that moment of closeness, that moment of holiness, there's nothing else we can do. We have to look after the baby. We can't hurt anybody else. We can't be focused on anything else. We have to focus on the infant. We focus on what incarnation means, what it means for us to say, I have something to offer to this world. And I need to figure out what that is, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do it. What is it we accept and nurture? Now, I said that she, according to the story, did have the opportunity to say no, and everything rational about us would probably say to her, "Don't do it. This is going to cause you pain, trouble, embarrassment, humiliation. You are an unwed mother in a highly patriarchal culture that is going to do its worst to you. Say no. Say no to this pregnancy." What would make her say yes? Shea would suggest that it's her intuition, a gut feeling, something inside her, and would acknowledge that for many of us, a decision that is based on a gut feeling is often the best one. We make our best decisions based on something that we feel inside. We can call it the spirit, we can call it intuition, but whatever, there are times when we have to set aside rationality because it will make us opt out and sometimes say, this just feels like the right thing to do. She should have said no, it made no sense, but something told her to say yes. And the story will tell us that she will have heartbreak, but that it will lead to possibilities for herself and a lot of other people. We often say yes to something for the sake of a few, sometimes for just ourselves. Another thing it will take is for her to be aware of the possibility of an envisioned future. To say something different can happen, the world can be changed when I say yes. At least her world would be changed, and for some of us, that's all it is. We say yes to something, so we will change. But probably it's going to lead to us becoming more, and that we will do a better job of changing the world ourselves. Maybe not in a big way, but a real way. To be able to do that takes something else, and that's courage. First of all, the courage to set aside all of our cherished notions and the things that we think we want in life and where we're going to go, to get rid of that envisioned future, to set stuff aside, to decide what is no longer of any use to us because of what might be possible. Another is the courage simply to embrace what is dangerous or threatening to us. Shea tells the story of a very upset man who went into a rehab center wielding a baseball bat, and the person who made the difference was the director, who went up and worked her way around inside his arms and hugged him and calmed him down. It took the courage of knowing that that could make a difference and that she might suffer for it. She was aware of the risks, and she was aware of her own courage, so she stepped in. Another thing it requires for us to give birth to a new reality is to acknowledge our longing, to see ourselves as virgins, as Shea describes, as a person who is a vessel, someone who is empty and ready to be filled, someone who is open to their life being changed, someone who acknowledges that there is more and that they can be part of that more. And it's to those people, Shea says, that angels appear. And the angel may not be an angel. It might be someone who just shows up in our life unexpectedly and holds out an opportunity to us. I think the other thing we need to acknowledge, and this comes from Shea as well, is that we have to be aware that Mary knew she belonged to no one, and that we belong to no one except ourselves. That way we can understand fear, and we can make a decision about it. That way we can be aware of courage and make a decision about that. That we can understand that sometimes love makes us afraid and it keeps us from doing things, but it also can lead us to doing things that are life-changing and even world-changing. Shea ends the chapter by talking about a quote of Thomas Merton's, who says that Mary is in the highest sense a person, precisely because she does not obscure God's light in her being. That, Shea says, in the last analysis is what the story is trying to teach us, how to be a person in the highest sense. To get out of our own way, to let light shine through us. Thanks for joining us. I hope you'll be with us next time, because we're going to do this a couple more times. Please like the video, check out the rest of our videos on YouTube, consider subscribing, check out our webpage, fairlawnchurch.ca, for more about us, especially if you're looking for a welcoming place for yourself. And finally, be good to you.